Eugene, live. Hello, 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 everyone. It's Stevie B at PTC. I'm Steve Coleman, and we're here again with another exciting episode of PTC Live. Today, we have a very, very interesting show, as usual, and we have David Rosenbaum with us, who is the Dean of the Associate Vice President for Students, right? What's your title, David?
Associate Dean of Students.
Associate Dean of Students. I knew that. And David's here to talk with us about some of the exciting new programs that we have here at Piedmont Technical College. David, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm excited to be here today, Steve. I enjoy working at Piedmont Tech for opportunities like this. I'm always learning something here, never get bored. And I've been very impressed with this PTC Live show that y'all have been doing for a few weeks now, and I'm honored to be your guest today.
Well, I'm certainly glad to have you, and I'm certainly and I'm looking forward to hearing from the guests that you have that you'll be bringing to us a little bit later. But just to get us started, David, I had a student contact me recently asking me about how our college could help him get ready to enter the job market. And I explained to him that there were several resources that were available, but I know you're much more qualified to tell him more about that than I am. So how would you answer that question?
Piedmont Technical College has a lot of resources to help students prepare for their career. Absolutely. A few weeks ago on this show, the admissions staff were referring to some career information that can be found on our website. So that would be one of the first things that I would do. By program, we have these career quick facts, and each section will show information like salary and placement rate of our graduates, entry-level positions, physical demands, and a list of employers who've hired those graduates. So that can be a great start if they're trying to explore their choices. We can also connect students with national, state, and possibly even local occupational data through the Career One Stop website. But if they're still unsure what they want to do, it's a great idea to talk to someone. And we have staff here, our Career Planning and Counseling Services group would be the ones to talk with a student about the programs and about things like their individual strengths, interests, values, and skills. We have some assessments that they can take, and they can talk about the career opportunities and make some plans.
Oh, wow. And that is a ton of great information. As we know, our mission is to help students move into the next stages of their lives, whether it be transferring, but also because of the very extensive quality programs that we have in the technical area, students are going directly to work. So what you're saying is students need to have a realistic idea about their career. And so tell me, what else do they need to do in terms of finding that out? We know that some students come in with varying levels of knowledge about exactly what it is they want to do, or they know what they want to do, but need to find out how to do it.
Exactly. So after you figured out a plan, they may want to get some experience in their field. So all of our technical education programs offer some type of work-based learning opportunity. It may be a campus lab, it may be an internship, a project-based learning experience, a clinical rotation, cooperative work experience, or an apprenticeship. Those students who do these are going to benefit by applying what they have learned previously. They're gaining confidence in their ability to do specific job tasks and potentially meeting professionals in their field. So all of these things are going to be extremely valuable in the job search. So let's talk just a little bit more about apprenticeships. Apprenticeship programs can be found in industries like advanced manufacturing, information technology, energy, tourism, transportation and logistics, and healthcare. And here at the college, it's a partnership between Apprenticeship Carolina, local business and industry, and our academic programs or our continuing ed programs, depending on what the apprenticeship is. We currently partner with over 30 companies on apprenticeships, and we're continually trying to forge new partnerships all the time. Now, according to the U.S. Department of Labor, 91% of apprentices end up working in their field of study. So we have apprenticeships available in all of the 7 counties that we serve. Some examples: over in Abbeville, we have Prysmian Cables. We have Minority Filter Elements down in Edgefield, ZF Transmissions in Lawrence, McCormick School District, Craft over in Newberry, Fujifilm here in Greenwood, and CVS Pharmacy down in Saluda. Now, BMW is another manufacturer in the upstate, and they are also looking for apprentices. So can you bring on our special guest, Eugene Grant?
Well, I'd like to say thank you for inviting me here today to talk to your students and maybe for us some potential apprentices. So, just to share a little bit about my background because I think I relate very well to your students, because back in the 1980s, I was a student at one of our local technical colleges, and I majored in a advanced manufacturing degree. And I was lucky enough at the time to know somebody that was able to get me a job, and so I was able to work while I was going to school. And it was because of that experience that it then helped me prepare for other opportunities that came forth. Because I really think at the end of the day, it's all about setting yourself up for options as a student. So you want to be able to, have choices. And so this is one way to gain that needed experience that pretty much all manufacturers, tend to want on their, job applications. So it's one way of helping to meet that requirement. So.
Well, man, Eugene, it's really good to see you, man. I know you and I went through some programs together and got a chance to know one another. We've been friends ever since. And I remember the conversations we used to have about you wanting to help students from the technical college perspective learn more about what types of career fields that are available to them, and to be comfortable with understanding that there is a great deal of opportunity in all of the fields that our technical colleges offer.
Exactly. I mean, it's not just manufacturing. I mean, that's my personal background and what I've been involved with since, 1991 when I joined the technical college system. So I taught for a while, and then I went back to industry, where I was the apprentice team lead at the Robert Bosch plant in Anderson for about 10 years. And then I went back to the college and was the dean for our Industrial and Engineering Technology Division at Tri-County at the time. And somewhere along the way, I decided I had always had a dream of owning my own business. And so it was a good time. I resigned and give it a try. And things didn't work out, but that was okay. I learned a lot from the experience. And so because of that, I ended up at BMW back over their apprentice program. And but I think the thing is, for me, is that you're able to, to me, it hits home, because my dad got caught up in the textile downsizing back in the 80s when, textiles started leaving and going out of the country. And he was in middle management. And I saw what happened when you don't have the credentials needed. He had all the work experience in the world, but he didn't have the degree. And it hurt him. It took him a long time before he was able to find employment again. Mm-hmm. And so my stance has been ever since that. Remember what I went through. I don't want nobody to have to go through that. And so to me, that's the key. Is so the more things you can do to set yourself up for options, I think the better off we all are. So.
Yeah. So you've made a tremendous commitment to helping people find that place that's available to them. There's some events coming up that you'd like to tell us about, I'm sure, about some information sessions and things that we'll be talking about that give students an opportunity to find out more about what's offered through your company and through advanced manufacturing and other areas.
Exactly. Due to the coronavirus and the fact that we were not able to do our typical high school recruiting events in the in the spring, we're trying to be really creative on how we're reaching out to people to share about our program. And so we have a virtual info session lined up coming up in July. I believe it's July the 8th. And so it'll be sponsored through PTC. And so we're excited. We'll share a lot more information, details about the program at the time. But our current program, just so people don't think it's just maintenance type apprenticeship tracks, we have an automotive track, we have a maintenance track, and we also have a supply chain logistics track. Mm-hmm. So, you may be interested in any one of those particular career fields, and you will certainly, would fit right in, with our current program. So love for you to come back. I believe David Rosenbaum would like for you to email him if you're interested in signing up. And at that point, then that way we'll have a head count, I guess, of who's participating, and we'll share a lot more information about the BMW site and the program. Wow.
Thanks so much, man. That's great information, Eugene. And we really appreciate you sharing that information with us today. David, that's a great segue into you sharing with us how PTC students will be able to get involved and participate in this great opportunity to learn more about these programs.
Right. Well, we are going to be able to help them after the information session, if they need it, to do things to make those, to prepare themselves, to make a good impression. So that could be their cover letter, their resume, preparing themselves for an interview. Those are all examples of employment services that we offer to students. And there's some online tools that we have available to our students, and that can help them to either get started or to optimize what they already have. With their cover letter and resume, there's a system out there now that we're just getting started with this. It's called Job Scan, and it allows them to go in and look at a lot of information about what needs to go into a cover letter and a resume, and they can actually copy and paste their resume into the system and see how they match up with the job description that they paste into the system. And what they call that is a match rate. And the idea is that the higher their match rate, the better candidate they're going to be, and the more likely that they're going to get an interview. So we're trying that out and see if our students are using it. That'll be something that hopefully we'll continue to have available for them.
I'll tell you what, I'm a student. Let's say hypothetically, I'm a student. I've come in and I've gone through the process and I've worked with the program. I've got an outstanding cover letter. We've worked to get my resume saying exactly what it needs to say. I'm right there where I need to be with the match rate for the types of positions that I'd like to have and to pursue. And, by all accounts, I'm an excellent candidate for those areas that I have. How do I find out what's available? Who's interviewing? Who's got jobs available?
Well, there's a lot of different ways to do that. That's one of the things that we want to help students with, is to be able to get that information and also to have opportunities for networking. So when it comes to the job opening information, there's a lot of sites out there that students can use. I'm sure most of the people that might be watching this session today are familiar with Indeed and Monster and Career Builder. Our SC Works system in South Carolina is a wonderful way to get those leads. At the college, we have a small volume site. It's called Jobs at a Glance. And they may not be familiar with that, but we would definitely want our students and our graduates to look at that regularly. In the past 5 years, we've had typically about 600 to 700 jobs posted on that webpage. And that's not a lot compared to something like Indeed, but most of these are jobs that are related to our programs. Sometimes a local employer will post something there that maybe they're just looking for a student, to work part-time while that person's going through school. But a lot of these are positions that you need to have a degree or a certificate, a diploma, something from the college to be qualified. So, 2020 has been a different year. And we started out in January, typically sort of slowly with the number of postings coming in, about 40 each month. And then in May, we had 136.
Wow.
We've had 50 so far in June. So I feel very optimistic about the opportunities that are out there for our graduates.
Man, that is an absolute, you said just 50 here recently?
Already in June, we've already had 50. So I hear sometimes students are saying, well, there's no jobs out there. Nobody's hiring. But that is not the case. And, I don't want them to rely only on the Jobs at a Glance page, right? Because there's other ways that they can get those leads. But they don't want to ignore it either. So they should feel optimistic. I hope that they will.
I want to go back to you, Eugene, just to talk with you a little bit more about some of the things that you're doing with the company of the magnitude of BMW. But you talked about advanced manufacturing. You talked a little bit about your background. As a student, as a technical college student, and then as an employee of the technical college, an actual instructor and someone who's leading students, what advice do you give students about the job search? And not just particularly to BMW, but when you talk to students in general and about opportunities that are available throughout BMW and other companies within your service area, what do you talk to students about?
I think typically I share with them that, you want to, paint yourself in a forward-thinking, in a positive light, with a lot of energy, where you're very flexible. You can, move and groove with whatever's being thrown at them. And, I mean, prime example is I've just, my two sons just finished school. One finished his master's, the other just finished at Greenville Tech. And that was the discussion I had with both of them the whole time is take the classes that gives you the skill set that will be broad based. You can always specialize later because typically, if they're hiring a young person, they're not looking for an expert, because they know it takes time to become an expert. So set yourself up with as broad of a base of skill set as you can that then opens the door to many companies or a diverse group of companies because, people just tend to get sandwiched into a small niche. And then when they do, and, it's just really difficult then to participate, or at least with the competition currently, because there for a while, everybody was fighting for the same people, Yeah. And I think right now with companies starting to come back, suppliers opening back up, across the globe, you're going to start seeing a lot of people coming back, and some of them that were working for you is now not there because they've already accepted a job at another place. And so now's a great time, in the global economy, in my opinion, to actually be looking for work.
Right.
But with your students coming in trying to determine what to do, find something you enjoy, because if you got to do it every day, you don't want to be miserable. And always look for the opportunities to do something better and different, because that just gives you the skill set and opportunities to promote up and do different things, because you don't want to do the same thing for 30-something years. So
I tell you what, I remember the conversation we had, Eugene, where you told me that you tell your students, find something you love to do and figure out how to make a living at it.
That's right. That's exactly right.
And we talk about those types of career fields and opportunities, being technical college administrators and people who work with students who are coming to find their way and to enter an emerging job market. We know that this is a tough time in the economy, but we also know that the economy always bounces back. And David, one of the things that you do on a daily basis is talk to students about being prepared, talk to students about being able to put their best foot forward to sell themselves. What are some of the things that you talk to students about, some of the discussions you're having with students when you get into those conversations and you talk with those individuals you work with to share with our students about how they can position themselves better?
Well, I think Eugene gave some great advice about finding things that they are interested in. If they're passionate about something, that's going to come across to an employer. Students have to practice. I think a lot of times they downplay their skills or the experiences that they've had, the things that they've had to juggle while they're going through school, and they really need to analyze that information. Think about what skills have they shown in the classroom, or if they've had a part-time job or some other kind of experience. They need to really analyze that information and think about, how does that apply to this job that I'm going to? So one of the other things that we offer to students is a system called Interview Stream. And a lot of our classes, the academic programs will provide this as an assignment for students. But if they're in one of our technical programs, they can still use the system, even if it's not for a grade, right?
Right.
So they can practice answering questions, and then they can review, how are they doing? Are they making that connection with those skills that are going to be needed for the job? And if they're not doing that well, we can give them some feedback and make sure that they know things that they need to be emphasizing. An interviewer in at BMW or at any company around our area, they're probably not going to pull that information out of the person. Sometimes they will, but that's the student's responsibility to make sure that they are presenting the information that they think is going to make them a great candidate for that job.
Wow. You made a comment earlier. You said 91% of apprentices work in their field. 91%. That is a tremendous success rate for students being able to find jobs. I think we attribute that. I don't think we attribute that. I'm sure we attribute that to the fact that in the technical college system and working through partnerships with BMW and doing the things that you and Eugene do in collaboration, the technical college system is doing a fantastic job of preparing people for the available workforce. Would you agree?
I absolutely do. There are so many opportunities out there. I'm going to give you another number. We go through each year and gather information from our graduates. Mm-hmm. So if a graduate is out there watching and we haven't asked you, what are you doing since you completed your program? We want you to get in touch with us and let us know, because that's a measure of our success as a college. And all the technical colleges have to do this. So the most recent report, we had about 1,000 degrees, diplomas, and certificates to be completed. And 90% of those individuals were working in a job related to their major or continuing their education.
Wow.
That's a pretty impressive number, I think.
Yes.
We know that there's always room for improvement with that. We don't want to be satisfied with just 90%, but that's an indication, I think, that we're doing a pretty good job with getting folks out there into the workforce, and hopefully they will have lots of other opportunities. If they want to continue learning and continue taking on responsibilities, they're going to be prepared to do that kind of thing.
Eugene, another question for you, again, following up on some of the conversations that we've had, you might want, I was just saying, make sure you take your mute button off.
Yeah.
You probably didn't want to listen to me again, Eugene. But, one of the things that we talked about, and I was doing a little bit of research, checking in on BMW. BMW is a company that's still diversifying. They're still creating new jobs and new streams of opportunity for graduates. Is that correct?
That is exactly correct. In fact, 2 years ago, we doubled the size of our apprentice program just because of expansion here at the plant. We went from 50 apprentices to 100 apprentices in one team. And then the next year, of course, we started another group of 50. And so we're constantly looking, back to what David mentioned about our retention numbers and things like that. We've graduated over 300 apprentices, and all but, I believe last time I looked, all but like 16 are still here working. And so that's next year's our 10-year anniversary of the program. So in the last 10 years or 9 years, you look at how much knowledge has been acquired by those individuals, and you hate to lose it. So we've seen our graduates promote up within the organization, so they're not in the entry-level positions no more. Because when we start looking for apprentices, we're looking for future leaders of our company, because we believe that is the future of our company. Mm-hmm. So we're not just looking for somebody that's going to do the job today. We're looking for people that's going to help take us, to autonomous driving, by 2025 or 2026 or whatever it may be. And so you got to have people with those forward-thinking ideas. And so, we're looking for potential,
That's a tremendous, that's a statement that I hear quite often. And I'm sure we've talked about that amongst all of us, David and I, and yourself and I, in all those times we were together.
Right.
I like that we're looking for potential. Is there the expectation that a student that is coming into an apprenticeship has to know it all right away?
It's funny you say that. We know that that's not the case, but when we put them in the plant working, some people that's a little older in age, like me, they seem to think that these students ought to already know what they know. And they forget that somewhere along the way, somebody took the time to teach them. Sure. And so, and that's what I have to tell the apprentices coming in. Look, you are really an extra workload on the individual that you're learning from, because they could just go do the job, which would be quicker than then trying to let you do the job, walking you through it. And so, you know, you need to show your appreciation of that as it's happening. But no, I mean, those of us who run the program, we know they're coming in. We start at the very beginning, although we hire a lot of our scholars or apprentices who have already completed their first year at Tech. You know, so they're already halfway through their program. And so, you know, those come in already much more knowledgeable than the ones that's just come straight out of high school. And, but even those, we start them back at the beginning because we need to make sure, you know, because of the competency set forth by the program and stuff, they can do the job at the end that we need them to do. So
great. Well, David, what we have at Piedmont Technical College, obviously, is a very comprehensive preparation program for our students. And we also have partnerships with external community members as far away as Greenville. And there's also a lot that's going on right here in the local community. Is that correct? Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know that there's very many places that we wouldn't go. If you and I were driving around the 7-county area, I can't imagine that we would visit too many businesses or industries that we wouldn't find Piedmont Tech grads, you know, gainfully employed. They may be in lots of different roles, but they're going to be out there doing all kinds of great things. So, yes.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, it's been an exhilarating conversation, one that's full of information. Eugene, I want to take the time to thank you again for coming on with us at PTC Live. And at least this time, I'm not stealing your time from Tri-County. You were able to come through on BMW's.
That's right.
BMW. And
well, I really do appreciate the opportunity just to come talk to you and catch up with an old friend. So,
absolutely. And David, of course, we'll continue the great work that we do at Piedmont Tech every day. I want to give a shout out to you and those individuals that you work with, and the great work that you're doing in our communities internally. When I say internally, I mean Greenwood, Lawrence, Edgefield, Abbeville, McCormick, Newberry, and Saluda. But here is a great opportunity to see that Piedmont Tech is reaching beyond their boundaries. We've expanded our boundaries to Greenville, to other extended areas to try to provide the best possible opportunities for our students. I know I had a program when I was leading the Genesis program, and we had students from Georgia that were here in our programs, Lincolnton and other places that were close enough, Augusta that was driving over to our programs. And we've got some emerging technologies that are just fantastic, and companies that are currently moving into our area, like gosh, it just jumped out of my mind. What is it?
Teijin.
Mechatronics, Teijin. And so we have students that have tremendous opportunities. And the technical college system continues to grow and to be strong and to be able to provide a qualified workforce. And we do it as well as anyone. Guys, thank you so much for this incredible and important information, the services that you provide. And together we'll continue to press forward and provide those opportunities for our students.
Thank you.
This is Stevie B at PTC. Eugene Grant, thank you. David Rosenbaum, thank you. We look forward to talking with you again next Thursday, same time, when we'll have another exciting program full of information that will help students find their way and provide the information necessary to know what Piedmont Technical College and its partnerships are all about. Have a great day.